We all need to stop. This all really needs to stop, and it's all getting so out of hand, and I'm getting sick of it. And with this, I'm talking about the. And with this, I'm trying to target ISIS, however you want to call it, or the IS or the ES or whatever. I don't even really care how you call it. Just that horrible group of people. And I'm talking about the refugees, and I'm talking about racism and everything in general. This all just really needs to stop before we all kill each other. Like, we don't even need like a freaking apocalypse, because we're all just gonna kill each other. And I hate watching people do this to each other. Like, I'm going to be extremely honest with you right now. When I heard about the refugees, and like, I think about half of the media in Holland is trying to scare people, and the other half is trying to make them like accept the refugees. So I was seeing way more and like a lot of the bad side of the media about refugees. And I'm gonna tell you, I was scared. I heard people about getting raped because they were dressed inappropriate for them and being called whore and everything. And I was like, I don't want to go outside next year in the summer and be freaking raped or yelled at like I'm a freaking whore or something. I don't want that in my country. I want to be free like I always was here. And I was scared. I was really scared. And then came the things about them being unhappy about not having Wi-Fi and not having privacy and like a locked room. And I'm like, but if anything happens in that room and they can't get in, that's a problem. So I would totally understand that. I was being a little bit nationalistic and everything, and I was just scared. I'm gonna say I was just scared. But then I also read a lot of great things about a family thanking people, and people like refugees giving out flowers, and just people in videos telling that they were very happy that we let them in and that we helped them with everything, and that did very good to my heart. So that all happened, and then I was just thinking about what if anything happened here and I would have to flee. And then people are talking about closing the borders and stuff, and I was like, so that would mean that I just would have nowhere to go. And that's not okay. So the way I feel, I think people are allowed to come here, and if they want, maybe even stay here, but they do have to adapt and adjust to our country and our belief, not our beliefs, our our culture. They have to be okay with women working, with women walking around in shorts and crop tops and high heels. Like, they would have to adjust to that, and then I'm perfectly fine with them living here. Like, I have no problem. As long as you don't disrespect our culture, disrespect our women, or do anything bad like rob or kill people, anything like that. So for the rest, I'm fine with it, and I think that everyone kind of has to be, because what's the use in not being? You're just really like making yourself fed up with nothing, because you're not going to change anything about it, so you better just accept it. Okay, next point. I want to talk about Mr. Wilders, which is the leader of one of our political groups called the Partij voor de Vrijheid, PVV, Partij voor de Vrijheid, voor de Vrijheid, which is like a group that is fighting for freedom. And I'm gonna just tell you, like, I'm probably gonna be hated a lot for saying this. But I agree on a lot of points of the things that he says. I think that if you, like, he kind of says the same thing I just said. Like, you just have to adapt and accept our culture, accept the women walking around the way they do, accept women working, and you just should not be into criminal things. And he's like, if you don't do anything of that, I'm fine with you living here. And I feel that way too. But the other thing he says that I totally disagree with is that we should just totally stop letting Muslim people into our country. Like, that's all just wrong. And just saying that the Quran is a demon script or anything, that's just bullshit, in my words. I feel like, yes, a lot of people, I think, do get the wrong idea maybe of the Quran, and they just go by the way that they interpreted it. I don't know. The way they believe it is. And a lot of people don't. Like, if you just look in Holland here, we have a lot of old school Muslims. And I feel like if you go to Turkey or Morocco or anything like that, you won't see as many people wearing hijab. Or like, you know, as here. Because we have so many Muslim families that came here like a long time ago when everyone did that. And now the other Muslims in Muslim countries are a little bit more modern than here. But I mean, like, as long as they can get along with our culture, I'm fine with it. That's okay. What was I talking about? No, but I don't feel like the Quran is evil or anything. I must say, though, that honestly, I think just pretty much every religion should just stop, because everything is just getting so much hate. Like, the whole homophobic things, and I don't know, it's just all bullshit. And I just think we should all maybe just become Buddhist. I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with being Buddhist. I went to this museum, and there was an exhibition about Buddhist people, and it just all seemed very peaceful and okay. And I don't know if Buddhist people have bad sides. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so. So maybe we should all just become Buddhist. Or maybe we should all just become nothing. At least there's one thing we all should do, and that is research. That's what my boyfriend also told me. We should all just keep doing our own research instead of taking everything from the media. And yeah, I don't know. Another thing I want to talk about is based on our holiday here, which is called Sinterklaas, which is not to be confused with Santa Claus, because they're two whole different people. We have both here. We have Sinterklaas and Santa Claus. A little bit confusing, but it's okay. We call him the Kerstman here, Santa Claus, so it doesn't sound as much alike. Anyway, Sinterklaas here has helpers, and they all have black faces because of going through the chimney. But now, a couple years ago, someone was like, yeah, but someone called me that on the street. And let me just say, it's called Zwarte Piet, which means black Pete. I don't know. Pete is a name, so the black one. Oh, that sounds very racist. Anyway, we have celebrated that a holiday for I don't even know how long. Like, my dad and maybe even his grandma or anything celebrated that. And there was never ever anything wrong with it. I've never heard a kid compare Zwarte Piet to a black person or anything like that. Like, never ever in my life. As a kid, I saw people of color, and I saw Zwarte Piet, but I never associated them together. Like, never ever. And maybe if I would have, which I haven't, I would never think like, oh, they're slaves. No. Zwarte Piet is Sinterklaas, his best friend, and he helps him. And, you know, it's just like Santa Claus and his little helpers. And now all of a sudden they're starting to make such a fuss about it, and they're trying to introduce colored people like with yellow faces and white faces. I once had like a white faced one in my school, like really like pale white, and I was so scared. I just ran away. I was so scared. It looked so freaky, and it was nothing like, just wasn't used to it maybe, but it was so scary. I just ran away, and I was like, I don't want to be there. I'm just gonna go to the normal Pete. But I just think it's such bullshit. And then when he came into Holland, like they always do this big thing with him coming in with a boat and with his horse and like pizza everywhere. And then there was this big group of people that were protesting, like with the little kids were just walking around there and like waving at Sinterklaas, and they were at the other side yelling, "Weg met Piet," and "Go away," and "No more." And I'm like, why do you want to ruin something that's so important to little kids? Like, what's the use? I don't think little kids are gonna think like, oh, Zwarte Piet is a slave, so that black person there probably also is a slave. No! No. And if they do, then it has to do with their parents and not with them. Just saying. Anyway, it annoys me so much that people spend so much time arguing about it. Just leave it the way it is, because honestly, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with it. Okay, maybe it is a little racist. Maybe it started off racist. I don't know. All I know is that when I was a kid, up until recently, I have never ever thought about Zwarte Piet as a slave, or I would never compare and associate it with people of color. Like, never ever in my life, and I haven't ever known anyone who did that. And it's just one person heard it one time and just was like, we need to stop this, and then other people are like, yeah, we need to stop this. No, it's part of our culture, and I don't think we should touch upon it. We should just like freaking leave it alone. Like, we've already gone on way too long about this, so let's just leave it the way it is and spend our time on more important things, like my last thing I want to talk about, which is about November 13th this year, which is a couple days ago, where I'm just gonna call it ISIS because it's the easiest way, where ISIS really made a big shocker in Paris, and they shot a lot of people, and so many people died. Like, it already went up until like 135, and to me it must be so crazy to just go out for a fun night and then all of a sudden you see people get shot all around you. So many people crawled between all the dead bodies to the exit, and have seen people get shot right in front of them and they laid in a puddle of blood, and some tried to play dead for like 3 hours. Like, it's so crazy, and it's such... I don't understand why you would do that. Like, okay, to make people scared, and I really feel like ISIS is doing everything and anything they can to scare people. Like, I don't know if the airplane from Egypt or Russia was in Russian flight from Egypt, when that one crashed. I don't know if it really was ISIS. Maybe it was, but maybe they just take the blame to scare people off. Like, we can do that. I don't know what it is. I just feel like they're doing anything in their power to scare people. And, well, with that last time, they sure did. And I must say that I'm kind of scared to go, like, to big republic places, because you just never know, you know. All those people didn't expect that when they went there that they would get shot. They didn't. Now, I read this thing that they were telling Belgium to watch their backs, and that they're going to blow up their hospitals and shopping centers and everything like that. And they also said they also said that, why does it sound so freaking weird? Another thing they also said was that they like the fact that it's creating hate towards Muslim people, and that that's what they're trying to do, so that they can easily convert those Muslim people, which are getting so much hate, to join ISIS. And also I heard that radical Muslims right now that are either with ISIS or just a little bit like crazy in the head and that take it way too far are approaching refugees all over Europe. And honestly, that kind of scares me. I don't think they'll just go with it, because I've seen so many great posts on Facebook of refugees standing up against what happened in Paris. That takes away a bit of my fright, but I'm still scared that if it's gonna go on like this, like people really are hating so much on Muslims and on refugees right now, that I think that we're just helping ISIS, and it's horrible. Like, I feel like sometimes I read the comments on things that happen and I just think, like, how can people be so ignorant? Like, someone even said that we should like bully away all of the Muslim kids of school so that the parents will leave, or that they will all just kill themselves. And I'm just like, how are you even human? Like, what is this? I don't understand that people can say that. And on the other hand, there's a lot of people saying, you Dutch people are all racist and you should all get cancer and frigging die. And I don't agree with that either. Like, that's not okay either. But I feel like with what we're doing here in Holland, I don't know how it is in the other countries, but what we're doing here in Holland is helping ISIS. Because so many people here are hating on the Muslim people and on the refugees here in Holland. And it's just going to push them further away. And it's going to make them hate Holland and hate us maybe. And then bad things are going to happen, I think. I just want to say, please, just stop. Stop with the whole discussion about Sinterklaas and Zwarte Piet. Stop with the whole Muslim hate, because it's not gonna help you anywhere. Stop just following Mr. Wilders like he's a saint, because he's not. And yes, he has good points, but he also has points that I totally not agree with. And just stop with hating. Stop with complaining, stop with everything, and let's just be accepting and loving toward each other. Like, really. Like, I'm not kidding. Can we just do that? Please? This is all just going nowhere, and we're just going to end up in a freaking World War III, and a lot of people are gonna die, and in the end, we will just be here sitting like, what did we gain? We gained nothing. Nothing at all. So can we just stop before that all happens and we all regret everything, and then we're like, oh, I'm sorry I did that? Well, then it'll be too late. So can we just stop right now? Okay. Thank you. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.